Okay, today I'm going to show you where and how to adjust pull compensation. A lot of people have asked me what pull compensation is, and it's a way of adjusting the stitching in your design to compensate for the pull of the stitching. And you see the effect of that when you stitch out and you end up with gaps between your objects, or you have outlines that hang off the edges and they don't look very attractive or professional. So you can make adjustments in your software to compensate for this. And the first way you can do that is in your object properties box. So if we open that up, we can see that we have the object properties here, and down the bottom we have the effects. If we click on that, we'll get to the effects box, and over here under the others tab we have pull compensation. So you can adjust your pull compensation here either from the drop down menu, which gives you these three options, which are listed here. 0.2 millimeters suitable for most objects, 0.35 millimeters recommended for bolder lettering, and 0.4 millimeters recommended for auto digitizer and magic wand. So if you change your pull compensation here for any of those suggestions, or you can decide not to have any pull compensation at all, and that would be in the case of very small lettering is a good example. Sometimes when you do lettering that's very small, you lose the holes in the centres of the letters, like the hole in the middle of the O. If you take out the pull compensation, that sometimes solves that problem for you. You can also choose to type in a value, so if none of these values are actually achieving what you want, you can type in your own value here. When you're just starting out, it's hard to judge what your pull compensation should be, so stick to the default until you find you're having problems, and then you need to start playing. Always, of course, stitch out your design to see the results. There's a shortcut way of sorting out your pull compensation which can be helpful for people just starting out, and that's done in your settings menu. So if we just close this and come up here to the settings menu and down to fabric settings, you've got the fabric type listed, and it defaults to the software defaults, but you can choose your fabrics here. So if you're doing lightweight t-shirt, for instance, you might like to select the lightweight knit fabric as your fabric type, and that will actually change the pull compensation in the software to suit that fabric. And we can see that by going back to our object properties and the effects and the others tab, and we can see now that the pull compensation is now 0.25, which is different to the 0.2 default, and that will allow for the extra pull you get with knit fabrics. Now you can also fix some of those problems of gaps and outlines by using your reshape tool in the software. For instance, if I have a couple of objects next to each other, I'll just digitize one here for you in blue, and then another one in next to it here. And leave that one in green. If I zoom in, we can see that the stitches are just touching. I'll zoom in even further. The green and the blue are actually not quite touching each other. Now if we were to stitch this out, the pull of the stitches would actually make a gap through here. So we need to actually have these stitches overlapping a little bit, and increasing the pull compensation will achieve this, but also you could use your reshape tool. We'll just zoom out to show all again. The reshape tool is located by selecting the select object and then clicking on the reshape tool, and this will bring up nodes around the edge of your tool, of your object. And what you need to do is move those nodes so that I'll just exaggerate it a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing, so that the objects actually now overlap. And when I zoom in, you'll see there's an overlap between the two colours here. And so when that stitches out and there is a bit of a pull in the fabric, the stitching will still meet each other. The more experience you get with digitising, the more you'll be able to judge how much this overlap should be. There's more information about pull compensation on my website, www.cudigitising.com, and if you'd like to go there and check the tutorials page, you'll be able to find out more. Thank you. Oh, please rate this video.